Hello and welcome to Betting Weekly Tennis Live in association with Bet Rivers. I'm Rory Chawani. With me is Nigel Seeley. We're in the middle of the Asian swing, so no in-play action, but we'll be looking forward to the matches taking place tonight and in the early hours of the morning Eastern time. That's in round one of the WTA 1000 China Open in Beijing. And we've got the first matches in the ATP 500 event in Tokyo. Remember, we want to get your thoughts and comments. We're also on social media at Because We Win. And if you like what you hear on our show, sign up for the newsletter. Get exclusive tips and the free Insider magazine. Sign up for free at www.bettingweeklystudios.com. Nigel, hello again.
It's been ages. It's been a good 3 hours since I last spoke to you, Rory. How are you, mate? Are you good?
Yeah, not too bad, thank you. Yeah, obviously. So we did the Betting Weekly WTA show earlier, looking at the WTA 1000 China Open. So we looked at futures markets and some matches. We'll have a look at some more matches from that event a bit later, but we'll start with the men. And Nigel, you and Sean looked ahead to the tournaments this week. The 500 in Beijing starts on Thursday, as well as the Tokyo 500 tomorrow. Tell us a bit about what you discussed.
Well, I mean, we didn't discuss much about Beijing because when we were going live, we didn't have any odds. So the outright market come up as we were live. So we did a little bit, glazed it over. The matches, we didn't have any matches. They're coming through now on the Bet Rivers website. But in Tokyo, we did have a lot of picks. Sean went mad. I think he's previewed 5 matches and had 4 bets, 4 official bets. Now, Sean Calvin, that is impossible. Rory has like 4 bets a day, but Sean to have 5 bets is unheard of in a 500 event. So we did do that, but we're going to look at some of the matches that we didn't cover on Betting Weekly Game Bet Match. Betting Weekly Game Bet Match is now live, available on the YouTube channel. So after this show, if you want to go across and watch it there, you'll be able to see that as well. So these are the matches that Sean didn't feature and some of the angles for the site. The action starts, you say it's tomorrow, but obviously stateside, it's 10 a.m. PM tonight. The action starts stateside, so in about 9 hours or so from now. So the action does start tonight. Remember, if you do have a bet on any of these matches, you can live stream it on the Bet Rivers app.
Yeah, here are the 2 matches we're going to look at. Start with Jaume Munar, the Spaniard, against Matteo Berrettini. Munar -152, Berrettini +125. Spread 1.5 games, totals 22.5. Berrettini won their only previous match on clay. That was in Marrakesh in April last year. Went to a third set. Berrettini won it 6-3. Now, the Italian, before his first round exit in Hangzhou last week, he hadn't played since Wimbledon. Munar lost his Davis Cup rubber to Denmark's Elmer Muller in a bit of an upset last week. That was on clay. He's been decent on hard courts lately, though. Reached the last 16 on the US Open. But Nigel, I guess this kind of hinges on Berrettini's fitness, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, the main thing you've got to take from this one is the conditions are quick. It's a very, very quick court over in Tokyo. If you look at the previous winners, Arthur Fils, Ben Shelton, Taylor Fritz, Novak Djokovic,
big servers,
all big servers, and it's a very, very quick surface. So that should help Berrettini, but the one thing that won't help him is his injury concerns, as you said. I mean, he hasn't won a competitive match of tennis for a while now. I mean, I think the last match he actually won was over in Rome in May, when he beat Jacob Fernley, the Brit. I mean, that's not exactly great record there. He obviously missed the French Open. He got beat in the first round of Wimbledon, and he got beat in Hangzhou as well in a really, really poor performance against, I don't know how to pronounce the name. Is it Svrikona? Anyway, he got beat against someone he shouldn't have got beaten about. So Berrettini is having a season, or has had the last 2 or 3 seasons completely with injuries. Jaume Munar has really, really improved. And I think on Game Bet Match, he's probably been our go-to man for the season in terms of when we bet him. But I don't really want to bet him at these kind of odds. I like him as a dog. When he's a dog, I like him. So I think, you know, when you look at Jaume and you look at him as an underdog against a player that he, you know, potentially has got a good chance against, I like him as a dog. I remember I bet him, well, we bet him to beat Diallo at the US Open, a match that I watched. And he was great in that match. But I think as a favourite in quick conditions, it doesn't seem right to back Jaume. I think he'll probably get the better of him, but at minus 152, it's not something that I would definitely be rushing to bet. The one thing I would possibly say here is, if Berrettini's not fit, I do expect him to probably be quite competitive in the first match, you know, in the first set. So I'm looking at first set overs if I was going to have a bet here. I mean, over 9.5 is the line. It's minus 143. You can go over 10.5 at 2-1. This tournament has a lot of overs. A lot of underdogs win this tournament here. It's got a history of shocks. It's also got a history of long matches, quick conditions. So I think with the injuries that Berrettini has, I think competitive set 1 probably get found out in set 2. But I do think over 9.5 games, set 1 at minus 143, a slightly bigger price than Jaume to win on the money line would be a bet for me. Munar has so many chances to win matches, but he doesn't finish people off. And Berrettini will have weapons, will be, he has his serve in quick conditions. He's going to be hard to break, but over 3 sets, and as the match goes on, I expect the better fitness on the prevail. But I think over 10.5, or maybe over 9.5, over 10.5, set number 1 could be the way I'm going here.
Okay, so just a lean for you though, Nigel. Yeah.
I mean, I'm not good. I can't bet Berrettini with the injury concerns. I definitely can't bet Jaume at these kind of prices. But a lean would be over 9.5, set 1, and probably ladder it with 10.5 as well.
Okay, second match we're going to look at from Tokyo. Daniel Altmaier plus 250 against Denis Shapovalov at minus 315. Spreads 3.5 games, totals 22.5 again. Last time we saw Altmaier, he retired injured against Alex de Minaur when 2-1 down at the US Open. He had beaten Stefanos Tsitsipas before that. Shapovalov fell to Jannik Sinner in New York, hasn't played since. He did win the Los Cabos title in July. He's back inside the world's top 30. One previous meeting, that was at Wimbledon last year, Shapovalov winning in 5 sets. I think Altmaier comes into this with a few fitness concerns as well, obviously, again, at the US Open. But if he's recovered, then he might look quite a big price here, mightn't he, Nigel?
I'm not so sure. I like Shapovalov here. I mean, Shapovalov almost beat Jannik Sinner. He should have gone 2 sets to love up against Jannik Sinner in the US Open. He pushed him better than anybody else. He obviously won that tournament, Los Cabos. He got beat the round straight after in Toronto. He got beat by Tien. But that's been the tale of the season, isn't it? Players on the men's and the women's tour have a big week, win the tournaments, go deep in the tournament. The following week, they tend to leave a lot of it on court the week before. Shapovalov was excellent in Los Cabos. I think the condition, he didn't drop a set in winning the tournament. I think the fast conditions will suit him. Altmaier's record this year on a hard court is pretty poor. 9 wins from 23 matches, so a negative result on a return from the year. Shapovalov is 13-9 compared to 9-14. And I think Shapovalov will cover the spread here. I like him minus 3.5. I also like him to win 2 sets to love, which you can bet as well. I think that will probably be a similar kind of price. I'm just trying to get the price here. But I honestly, the last time we saw Altmaier was in that retirement against de Minaur, and I just think Shapovalov's got the legs, got confidence, playing well. Even though he lost against Jannik Sinner, I think the rest will do him good, and I think he's a player to follow this week. So I like Shapovalov here, and I like him to cover the 3.5, and I also like 2 sets to love.
I was muted there. Are you going to have a lean? Are you going to have a proper bet there, or just a lean there, Nigel?
I'm going to. I have a short list of bets here, right? And what I'm going to do is, as the show goes on, I'm going to see which one I get slightly more excited about in my explanation, and I'll release a daily double at the end of it. But Shapovalov minus 3.5 or Shapovalov 2-love is definitely on the radar. And I'm looking at the Better's website trying to find the price for 2-love. I'm going to find it while you see it. The next match.
I've got it here.
Got
actually. It? Yeah, Shapovalov -1.5 sets is -113.
So, and what is the -3.5? It's about
-122.
Well, we've got to take the 2-0 because that's a bigger price. So, 2-0 could be in the daily double.
It could be. We'll find out later. Let's head over to Beijing for the WTA 1000 tournament. Got quite a few matches to look at here. Obviously, we said myself and Nigel, we looked at the tournament. We looked at some matches earlier, and that's on the Betting Weekly WTA show, which is live now. We'll start Laura Siegemund against Caty Mcnally. Siegemund +145, Mcnally -182. Spreads 3.5 games, totals 21.5. Siegemund won their only previous meeting, but that was over 5 years ago. The German veteran had a great run at Wimbledon, made it to the quarterfinals, narrowly going down to Arina Sabalenka. Mcnally pushed Iga Swiatek closer than anyone at Wimbledon. And since then, she's largely beaten the players you'd expect her to beat. But I don't know. I just think Siegemund might be a price here. Conditions aren't that quick. I mean, last year it was 63.7 on the service hold percentage, which is just slower than medium. I mean, Mcnally's not bad in these conditions, but I just think she's a bit short here.
Yeah, I mean, she's a fashionable player, but Mcnally. I know Mitch Michaels is very, very keen on her, thinking that she could be a player that could have a breakthrough. She's, on her day, she's fantastic, but she was really poor last match against Deanna Schneider, who had an awful week and had opportunities to beat Deanna Schneider. We were on Deanna Schneider, and I knew our fate very early on. But it was a very, very poor performance, and Mcnally got beat when the match that she shouldn't have won. On the back of that performance, there's no way I'd be betting her at -182. It's been a long season for her. Siegemund is obviously a lot older, coming towards the end of her career. We also mentioned, we haven't mentioned the conditions. It's going to be quite warm. It's going to be in like the high 30s, so it's a mid 30s. So it's going to be a hot, very hot, humid day. That shouldn't be too much of a problem. But there has been money for Mcnally. But what I saw last week was nothing really to get me excited about back in -182. Siegemund has obviously got beat by Alexandrova in the third round at US Open, which is no disgrace. And she pushed Sophie Kenning quite close last week in Seoul, only losing the third set 7-5. It went to a final set. So there would be a slight lean towards Siegemund, but I mean, if you got an angle in, I'm all ears. But for me, it's a bet that I wouldn't really be too interested about, really.
No, I mean, I thought I want to get with Siegemund some way, but I'm not really sure how. Maybe on the spread. Was it 3.5 games? I mean, the money line's quite interesting at +145, but nothing interesting enough for me to want to part with cash. But I do think I think it'll be closer than those odds suggest. Just seeing some of your messages, Graza. Any thoughts on Christian versus Maneiro? That's a good match, actually, Jacqueline Christian, because she's been in good form against Jessica Bouzas Maneiro, who just had a bit of a dip. I think that's pick'em. I think that's priced up as a pick'em match, and I think that's about right, quite frankly. I did see a couple of messages earlier as well.
I actually quite like Christian in that match.
Do you?
I did, yeah, but it's probably a little bit. That would be the problem. The court conditions would probably give the edge to Bouzas Maneiro. But I mean, both of them want it slower, I would have thought. But I would reckon that Bouzas Maneiro would be suited more to the quicker conditions. Christian needs it really, really slow. But I thought she played well the other day against Raducanu. Couldn't capitalise on the chances that Raducanu gave her. I mean, the amount of break points that she couldn't take was alarming. But on their recent form over the last 6 matches, Christian's got much better statistics than Bouzas Maneiro. Bouzas Maneiro's had a breakthrough season for her, but she's definitely on the decline towards the end, whereas I think Christian's on the upward turn. But the early money's in that. I mean, I always like to look at where the money's going, and the early move was all for the Spaniard. But then it sort of hit a price that Christiane was sort of almost even money with Bet Rivers, and the money now has come up again for the Romanian. So early move was for Bouzas Maneiro. Now it's drifted back out. The money's come back for Christiane. I agree with you. I think it's a genuine 50-50 call.
Yeah, latest odds actually looks like it's been a move for Bouzas Maneiro is now -118 and Christiane's -105. So money for the Spaniard by the looks of it, but that could change again before it starts. I think that's actually a match that's going to take place tomorrow. It's obviously the first round is over 2 days in these extended 1000s. Let's move on to our next match. Priscilla Hon, the Australian, against Viktorija Golubic. Hon is +120 and Golubic -152. First meeting between these two. And the Australian's actually playing some of the best tennis in her career. I mean, she beat Elisabetta Cocciaretto earlier, although the Italian had come straight from winning the Billie Jean King Cup on Sunday. And then she won yesterday against Leolia Jean-Jean. And then I think the travelling and the exertions, maybe the partying on Sunday night caught up with her today. But Hon had a good US Open coming through qualifying. She upset Lyudmila Samsonova, and then she fell to Anne Lee. Golubic hasn't played since the US Open, where she edged out Lois Boisson before falling to Beatrice Haddad-Maia in straight sets. Before that, she reached the quarterfinals in Cleveland and the final in Warsaw, where she went down to Katerina Siniakova. Yep, Willie, Siniakova is in really good form. Yep. So, yeah, I just thought Hon might be a bit of value here because she's playing some good tennis.
I watched that match between Golubic and Haddad-Maia. It was on court number 17, I think, or 18 at the US Open, the one that's got the bar. Surprise, surprise, I'm on the court that's got an outside bar. But yeah, I watched that match, and the one thing I noted about Golubic, I mean, I've seen on the television, but when I saw her in the flesh, she is so slight. I mean, there's nothing of her. I mean, she's honestly probably one of the slimmest, and you wouldn't think she's got any power whatsoever. And her serve was so weak in that match. She did all the slice, lots of spin. She's quite a frustrating player to play against, but she's got anybody of any power will blow Golubic off the court. And I think Hon is a bet at +120. I quite like that. I mean, you picked a couple of matches here. I picked a couple of matches here. But I think Hon at +120 is a decent bet in this match because Golubic, she wilted as well in the conditions. Haddad-Maia just outgrind. Every time it was a long rally, Haddad-Maia was far too strong first. She broke her down. She offered nothing on her serve. And I think Priscilla Hon, obviously she's got, she's playing for Australia, but she's obviously going to have the Far East connections as well with her parents. And so she's going to be very heavily supported there. And I think Golubic in hot conditions, in quick conditions, I think she's a vulnerable favourite at -152. So, yes, I like Priscilla Hon at +120.
Yeah, I'd go along with that. I mean, I'm a bit of a sucker for a one-handed backhand. So I do quite like Golubic, but I think Hon with the form she's in, and I think, the conditions, they're not, so we're not really sure. They didn't, when I watched earlier, they didn't look that quick, but it didn't look, it wasn't pudding slow. So yeah, I think Hon's a bet here at +120. I think she's got a chance playing if she continues the form that she's in. PT cashed out my Hon bet before it began. Oh, okay. So someone gave Hon in the against Cocciaretto yesterday, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
but we're all on the Hon chain. The Hon train is the way to go this week. But I also like players who obviously have played a little bit on the before going into matches, and I think that's a big advantage. Hon has actually played 2 matches here, and Golubic hasn't played since Haddad-Maia, and I always think that's a big factor. So. Yeah, Hon plus. Someone said now she's drifted up to +137, even better.
Wow. Okay. Well, that's a definite play for me, but I'm still seeing +120. So, okay. But anyway, yeah, she's still a play for me at +120. But I do like Hon in that one. Next match, let's go back to Anastasia Zakharova against Shuai Zhang. Zakharova's plus 130, Zhang minus 162. Yeah, I thought this would be closer than these odds. Zakharova had an impressive win over Greek Minen in qualifying, reached the semi-finals in Cleveland in conditions which might be quite similar to here. Shuai Zhang hasn't played since US Open. She fell in the first round to Belinda Bencic after coming through qualifying. Obviously, she plays much more doubles these days. And before the US Open, the last singles tournament she played was an ITF 50K event in Nottingham, which she won. Quite good on grass is Shuai Zhang. But I thought, Zakharova's, she's a promising up-and-coming player. Obviously, Zhang's going to have home support. But I thought Zakharova was a play here.
Yeah, I think this odds has really been priced up on that run in Nottingham and, come through qualification. She's on a good run of form. If you look at her current form, she's won 8 of her last 9 matches in singles. That's a good run. It doesn't matter who you're playing against. But Zakharova's played the higher caliber player, and she's come through qualification here and won 2 matches and hasn't dropped the set. Looked good as well. She's also got the age advantage. She's given up, obviously, the home advantage, but she's got the age advantage. She's 13 years junior to Zhang. So that's got to be an advantage if in hot conditions, if it goes tight as well. I have no real opinion on this match. The one thing I looked at, I thought to myself, when you gave me the list of games that you wanted to talk about, I looked at this one and thought this potentially could go into 3 sets. I thought it could be an overs, and I thought it could be an over 2.5 set game, or even over the totals. I think the total's 22.5, is it? I think it's
21.5.
21, even better. So yeah, that was the way I was looking at this, but it won't be featuring in my daily double.
Fair enough. Moving on, Anna Bondar against Bianca Andreescu. Now, we were looking at in the show we did earlier. Bianca Andreescu was originally due to play Magdalena.
Yeah.
That was it. But because Elena, and it happened while we were doing the show, Elena Svitolina pulled out. And so Magdalena was promoted to a seed. So she got moved in the draw. And so Bianca Andreescu is now playing Anna Bondar, the Hungarian, who's very much a clay court specialist. They've only met once, these two. And that was at Wimbledon 2 years ago, and Andreescu won. Bondar's plus 150, Andreescu minus 188. I probably won't be having a bet here because I'm not really one to take Andreescu's fitness on trust because she's had so many setbacks. I think she's coming back. Yeah, of course, she's coming back from another injury. She injured her ankle at the US Open and had to withdraw before her match against Mira Andreeva, if memory serves. So it's another comeback for her. If she's fit, she'll win. I think she'll win this pretty comfortably. But the question mark, as always, with Andreescu is whether she's fit or not. Yeah,
more comebacks than Elvis for Andreescu, isn't it? I mean, it's been comeback after comeback after comeback, and I think that eventually is going to take your toll on you. I was looking to get with her against Magdalena because Magdalena had such a bad injury, and obviously now Magdalena is a fade whoever she plays. But when I saw who she was playing, I think Andreescu is definitely worth fading because to miss that much tennis out, coming back in hot conditions with doubts over injuries and another injury. I mean, so many different things have gone wrong for poor Andreescu. After winning a major and winning 1,000 events, things haven't worked out for her. But I would want to fade her, but up against Anna Bondar in relatively quick questions. I mean, I couldn't make a case for her at these odds whatsoever. I mean, she's come through qualification here, winning 2 matches again without dropping a set. But I think this is a watching brief. And if Andreescu turns up well and looks fit, I think she will win this comfortably. But the reason why she is the price she is at the moment is because the market is a little bit unsure whether she is 100% fit. So prior to any match like that, when you've got a fitness concern, my advice would be to watch the first 3 or 4 games and then have a bet in play. And if she's absolutely fit and at the best, I think she'll cover the spread quite easily.
Yeah, agree with that one. Let's move on. I think next up, Elsa Jacquemot, who's a lucky loser because she went down to Viktorija Jimenez-Kasintseva earlier today. She's up against Antonia Ruzic, and Jacquemot's the underdog here, plus 117. Ruzic minus 148. Spreads 2.5 games, totals 21.5. Obviously, Jacquemot reached the semis in Guadalajara. She beat Maria Sakkari and the top seed Elise Mertens, and then fell to Emiliana Arango in the semi-finals. Ruzic is a player who's moving in the right direction. She's up to 80 in the world rankings. She reached the quarterfinals in Monterrey, where she went down to Marie Bauskova. These two met once in an ITF 75K event in Bratislava. I think it was last year. And Ruzic won 6-2, 6-3. This was one of your matches, Nigel. What's your angle here?
Yeah, I just thought that I thought Jacquemot was a little bit of a big price at plus 117. I know she's got beat in qualification. She's been very fortunate to come through. She almost won the tournament for us or got to the final tournament in Guadalajara, where we wanted her to do exceptionally well. But I just think the Ruzic odds here are probably on the head-to-head, where she won 6-2, 6-3 in that match. And I haven't been massively impressed with Ruzic, really. I mean, beat by Taylor Townsend very easily at the US Open in similar conditions they're going to play here. Beat by Bauskova in Monterrey in the quarterfinals very, very easily. And I thought Jacquemot has a little bit of, I think she's got a little bit of form behind her. Her record on the hard court this year, playing against similar kind of opponents, is a lot better than Ruzic. She's got a record of 14-8 compared to Ruzic 8-6. She's higher in the world rankings. She's arguably playing better form. I know there's a worry about her defeat today, but semi-finalist of the Guadalajara event where she got through and she beat some good players. Sakkari, Elise Mertens, the number 1 seed, Tatiana Marie. I know Tatiana Marie is not the player she was after, since she won Queens, but they're good wins. I was a little bit surprised she's plus 117. I thought that was a big price. I think this is probably a genuine 50 to 1, a 50-50 call. And I think that's a nice price, plus 117. So she might be on my list for the daily double.
Ooh, it's on the short list. It's on the short list. I mean, the only thing, I would be a little bit put off Jacquemot because I saw her stayed up late to watch her lose to Emiliana Arango. And how do we put this? She's a little temperamental. She always was. But I've been quite impressed when I picked her for Guadalajara. I'd been quite impressed because she'd seemed to calm down, and she was a bit of a sort of a basher before. She'd just sort of hit the ball, Ostapenko style, just going for winners, and then she'd get wound up. And then I'd seen her sort of control that aggression a bit more. And then against Arango, the wheels just came off, and I'm just a bit wary of her doing that again. But I'm a little surprised to see her as the underdog here. It's despite all of that. I mean, Ruzic, as I say, she is a player going in the right direction. But I thought the odds would be a bit closer than this. So Jacquemot goes on the shortlist. We'll look at, say she goes on the shortlist. The price has actually shortened while we've been speaking. She's now plus 110, the French woman. So that might put you off, perhaps. We'll see. We've got a couple more matches to look at. Polina Kudermetova, the younger sister of Veronica, up against Maddison Inglis. And as you can see, this is Pick'em. Minus 112 the pair. Spreads half a game, totals 21.5. Haven't met before, these two. I actually watched a bit of Inglis beat against Masarova. She played Rebecca Masarova, the Swiss, who used to represent Spain. And Masarova is a big server. And Inglis handled her serve reasonably well. She dropped the first set. I watched a bit of the first set and the second, and she came back in the second set and won it in 3. And I thought she looked okay. Kudermetova, very feast or famine. I mean, she goes for her shots. I think didn't she reach a final right at the start of the year? Mm-hmm. Hasn't really happened for her since. What did you make of this one, Nigel?
Yeah, she reached the final in Brisbane. She got beat by Arina Sabalenka. Had some good wins along the way there. Beat Kazatkina, beat Kruger, Kalinina. She
gave Sabalenka a scare as well. It's one of the few times I've seen Sabalenka almost on the back foot against someone.
But since then, she hasn't got past the second round of the tournament. So she got the third round of Indian Wells. She got beat by Sally Carter in the third round. But her form has been dreadful. She peaked too soon, using the old cliche. I liked English here, but the line has moved. She was even money when we were talking about this match. She's now -112. I think the line will probably move more in favour for her as well. I watched her against Massarova as well, little bits and pieces of it. I thought she played well in a difficult situation. She looked like she was going to. She battled through. She lost the first set, 6-4, and then she battled in a tiebreak in the second set, 7-6, and she won that 7-5. You know, she a couple of points away from actually losing the match, and then she fought back again in the final set. And Massarova was a big server, as you say. I thought she played really, really well. It was a long match though, and it was quite hot, and that may take a little bit out of her, which is a little bit of a concern. If she drifts back to even money, I'll back English, but I think Kudermetova is someone to fade at this moment in time. Ever since that start of the season where she looked really good, she's not at it at all, and I think English wins this. But at -112. I'd want probably even money or bigger. I want her as a dog. I don't want her as a, and I think she'll probably start favourite. So, however much I like her, it won't be for me.
Yeah, it feels like only one of the Kudermetovas is allowed to play well at any one time, because Veronica was in awful form at the start of the year, and as she's picked up, Polina's gone down. So I don't know. It's after reaching that final in Brisbane, you know, you just thought, sky's the limit, and it just has not happened for Polina Kudermetova. Her time may yet come again. It might come again. I think we've got one more match to look at, which is Lois Boisson, the Roland Garros semi-finalist, up against Jaume Galfi, the Hungarian. Boisson is -121, Galfi -104. Spreads half a game, totals 21.5. I don't think these two have met before. No. So what's your, I mean, Boisson, we know she's good on clay. Galfi is a player I've seen look quite good on grass, and probably is someone who wants quicker conditions. So, I mean, I'm a little surprised perhaps to see Boisson as the favourite here, because she still hasn't achieved much on hard courts.
Well, she's achieved nothing on hard courts. Yeah. She's only had one win in the whole year. And if you look at her career, she's had hardly anything. You know, she's only played 6 matches on a hard court in 4 years. She's only won 2 of them. So she apart from a clay court, she offers absolutely nothing. If you look at her record on grass this year, it was awful. Didn't win a match, and everything she does is on clay. The slower, the better. I think this is on the quicker side. And Galfi has come through 2 qualification matches to win here, and she come through Fruhvirtova. I know Linda Fruhvirtova was someone who was going to be on the breakthrough, and someone who's we thought might go higher than what she's shown already. But she's only 20 years of age, but she's a tough opponent, and Galfi beat her in quite impressive style as well. If you look at Boisson, the US Open beat first round, Cleveland beat first round. Obviously, she got to the final of Hamburg, but that was on the clay. So anything other than clay, where you can fade Boisson as a favourite, I advise you to do so. Galfi, the money has come for Boisson, and I'm not really getting it. I think Galfi is the much better option here, given her record on this surface compared to her opponent here. So I'm overlooking the form of what we've done on the season so far, because Boston's obviously had a better season, but all of her wins, every win is on slow European clay. This is totally different. So I think Galfi here is a player that I quite like at the price. Is it -112 or -110?
Well, I've got bad news for you. It's shortened. Galfi's now the favourite. She's now -117. Boisson is -107. So Willie K agrees with you. Galfi's been playing quite solid tennis. She's got decent ground stroke. She's got a good serve, and that might be enough. That might be enough on this. But she is the favourite now. So we've got Galfi at -117. So we've got a short list of 3, Nigel, for your daily double.
I've got a short list of 4 actually, but English has obviously changed a little bit. I mean, yeah. I'm going to stick Denis Shapovalov in definitely to win 2 sets to love. He's definitely in -113, and I'm not quite sure whether to go with Galfi or Jacquemot. And I think, given the fact that Jacquemot didn't do us any favours on this show, and my love for Jacquemot has fallen by the wayside, I think I'm going to go in with Galfi, just because of that Boisson's record. Anything other than clay, she's a fade, and we're getting a decent price. I know we've missed a little bit of the value. I mean, she was even money, now minus 117, but I've got to go with Gaufi. So my daily double, Shapovalov, 2 sets to love, minus 113 against an injured Daniel Altmaier, who will not like these quick conditions. And I'm going to go for Gaufi on the money line to beat Louise Bosson, who is just a clay court through and through, European, slow clay. She will not like it in the quick conditions, in the heat in Beijing.
So the daily double pays plus 252, putting those two bets together. So that's quite a nice price for two. Okay, they're both, minus money, but when you put them
Watch
together.
Shapovalov win 2, Gaufi lose 7-6 in a tie break, and Jacquemot win 6-love, 6-love. Just watch that.
Yeah, yeah. Graza, Gaufi's price is plummeting. Yeah, it is by the looks of it. It might plummet some more after this. You never know. But yeah, that's it for our look at some of the action, which obviously, as you say, some of it's tonight, Eastern time, and then in the early hours of the morning in Japan and China. Just a reminder, of course, we've got Game Bet and Match, Nigel and Sean looking at Tokyo, which starts tomorrow. And we've looked at a couple of matches from there today. And we've got myself and Nigel, we've got the Betting Weekly WTA. Both of those shows are on the site, so you can go and peruse them now. Nigel.
I think between all between all 3 shows, we probably previewed
every match.
Every single match on the whole thing. So yeah, there's lots of opinions, lots of bets, lots of angles in, lots of stats as well. So make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel and catch those 2 shows: Betting Weekly WTA and Betting Weekly Game Bet Match.
So there you have it. That's it for Betting Weekly Tennis Live. Who's on tomorrow, Nigel?
Now you've got me. I think it's Mitch Michaels,
Mitch and
Tim tomorrow. Yes.
Yeah, Mitch and Tim. So they'll be back tomorrow, and so they'll have Beijing women's. They'll also have some Beijing men's matches to look forward to, as well as the ATP 500 in Tokyo. Thank you, Nigel, as always. Thank you all for joining us, and we'll see you again soon on Betting Weekly Tennis Live.